stop making all that noise, fool.
Had to fix the light switch.
Whatever. What is up? How are you doing? It is another episode of the Hoof Live podcast. I am your host, the lovely, beautiful, dark-skinned chocolate, whatever you want to call me today. My name is Sterling, for those of you who don't know who I am. And we got my dude over here, Anthony Romeo NY. He calls himself the Doctor.
That's right, buddy. What's up, man? You're feeling smooth tonight, talking about chocolate and getting smooth.
I'm
getting
feeling
down with
smooth
it, playing the music
every single day. And then my guy down there, Eric, he kind of keeps us all level-headed and calm. He's the voice in the room. Eric, with that ugly ass picture behind you, you're gonna have to explain that. What's going on, my man?
Hey-oh, there it is.
The winter buffalo.
Yeah,
it's coming, man.
That looks depressing. It looks very depressing. I ain't gonna lie. But anyways, welcome to the Hoof Live podcast here on the Cover One Network. Like I said, you know who we are. We like to get down over here. But look, so to make sure you guys know to like, follow, and subscribe to the Hoof podcast. We couldn't be more thankful and excited to bring you content each and every week. And you know, our numbers are improving weekly because of the season and because of your support. So we appreciate everything you guys do. Keep the likes and the comments coming because we really appreciate it. So it's a Victory Tuesday, gentlemen. It's a Victory Tuesday. We'll get to
Victory
celebrate.
Hoof Day, baby.
It always feels good to come in here after a dub. Now, we're going to get to the game in a little bit, right? We're going to save our thoughts and opinions on that. We did see, a big trade come through. That was yesterday. Von Miller is now with the Los Angeles Rams. Be me living, the only one of us left in Denver. I guess I get to speak on this because you guys left. So there's that. But yeah, no, Von, he had a little heartfelt. You could tell it bothered him that he was getting traded. And it's one of those things where the writing was on the wall. I felt like they should have got rid of him 3 years ago when he had more value. But basically, they traded him away for a bag of hot Cheetos. I still think he is a pretty good pass rusher, even though the stats don't suggest. But Von is that dude, man. He's a good teammate from everything that we've heard over here in Denver. And so he is now a Los Angeles Ram. The Broncos in return got a second and third round pick. And I think the Broncos also paid the $9 million left of his salary for the season. Now let's get to, before we even continue.
So does that mean the Rams' next draft pick is like 2029 or something like that?
2030. Yeah, 2031.
They give up more draft. Where do they get all these draft picks that they just give up for players all the time? They trade for everyone and anyone out there. It's crazy.
Bro,
I don't know how they do it. I saw that and I'm like, how the hell did they give up a second and a third? Do they even have those picks anymore?
Listen, they give it up. They give it up like listen, y'all already know what I'm about to say, but they spread eagle, baby.
Going
they give
all
it up.
in. They're
give
going
it
all
up.
in.
Ball deep. You know what I'm saying? So they definitely do that. But hey, before we even continue, man, we got some of our people in here. Joseph in here says, "Let's go Buffalo." Azora High, that's my guy right there, man. He's always saying some funny shit. I expect something good tonight, buddy. Let's see who else. Lone Wolf. He says, "I missed the Bill suit on Anthony."
I missed it too. I still wear it. I'm going to the game in against Indy in Buffalo, so you'll see it there. I'm wearing it, baby.
Yeah, they're saying
game day it's on, but you don't see me game day much anymore.
They're saying that in the chat. That's the only time you match. So
what's that supposed to mean? What do we got now?
Loud, get loud. There you go. S. Brown's suit should be tan. Boy, get after that guy. Get after his clothing. Don says, "What's up? How you doing, Don?" The Fins are trash. Joseph, yes, sir. They are trash. John is in the house. He says, "What's up?" Anyway. So thank you again for all the support, man. We appreciate it. But back to my guys here. Are you guys ready to do this thing here tonight? Because Chris Yankee in the house. That's my guy. That's my dude. That's our guy. Teams will be in purgatory for years. That's facts, man. The Dolphins are rough, son. But for those of you who are new to the show tonight, we kind of do things a little different from other, our content creator cohorts. We kind of have a segmented show. We like to talk about not only the Bills, but we kind of like to go around the league and talk about the latest and the greatest. And when we do that, that is called What's Poppin'? Just like the Jack Harlow song. Yes, what's poppin'? Again, we go around the league. We talk about the latest and the greatest of what's crack-a-lackin'. And so my guys do not know the topics that I picked out that we're going to talk about tonight. So I'm going to put them up, and I'm going to put you guys on the spot. You already know the drill, how we do this thing. So let's go. You guys ready?
Let's do it, baby. What do we got?
All right, here we go. Exciting. All right, Bengals lose to the Jets. The Bengals. Now, this is the Bengals team, right? That freaking, they went up to Baltimore and they handled them dudes, only to come back the next week and to lose to the lowly Jets. The Jets.
With their third string quarterback?
Mike White, 400 yards.
Mike White. How many?
I'm pretty sure I went to high school with that kid. Didn't I go to high school with that kid? I think so.
Mike White. That just sounds like his parents just kind of gave up on his naming him. Like they couldn't come up with nothing clever. Just Mike White. I mean, that's the most generic.
John Doe.
That's the most. I know that is the most generic name I've never seen, man. But Mike White tore their ass up on Sunday, man. My guy was 37 of 45. He put a 400 burger. 400. Not 100, not 200, not 3, 4. 405 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. This guy was on the practice squad. He got drafted in 2019. Somebody tell me, let me see how good the fans are. Without looking up, someone tell me what school Mike White went to.
I'm pretty sure he went to, the Bishop School, John Grimes Preparatory Institution, right down the street here.
Yeah.
That's the school he went to.
I think he went to Division I DeVry University.
But whatever it is, the Bengals are calling him Daddy White is what they're calling him, because he came in and they won the game. And this is a Jets team that's been a hot mess. You got a quarterback over there, Zach Wilson, and listen, it's not been pretty. It's not been pretty. Yes, Joseph says Mike White sounds like a character in a Dave Chappelle skit. Sorry, he definitely does. He definitely does. Hey, Dave Chappelle shit was funny. Yeah. I'm telling you, he has some bangers. Some bangers.
Definitely a legend.
Definitely.
John DeMarchi is in the house. Yes, sir. John, what's going on, man?
What's funny though is that the Jets have already won the same amount of games that they won last year.
Right.
I did have the Jets at 4 wins this year, so they could do it.
Yeah, they beat Tennessee and Cincinnati. 2 good
I know
teams.
2 contending teams that are like playoff teams right now for sure. That's nuts.
I think it's coaching. I mean, I know they have a better roster this year, but it is a first-year team basically, right? They got a ton of free agents in. I think Robert Saleh is a hell of a coach, and he's motivating the team to rise to the occasion. It's good signs. It kind of reminds me like 2017 with Sean McDermott came in. They're 5-5, and they go down to Kansas City. Kansas City is a playoff team with Alex Smith, that year, and they won. They played tough. The team rose to the occasion. Obviously not an easy place to play, but you can see some of that in Robert Saleh, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, this is a gritty football team. I mean, they're still trying to put it together. So, but to have a guy come in there, and I think that's the difference. Mike White was the difference. He's not a rookie. He's been around for a little bit. This is his first taste of NFL action, and he just seems to get it. I mean, it's one game, and teams haven't had the chance to really game plan for him yet.
Right. Not a lot of film out there on Mike White, I don't think.
Right. And so when Robert Saleh was asked, their ask was he the starter moving forward? And he's like, basically, we'll see. I'm not counting anything out.
Oh, shoot.
We know Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is he's injured right now. And so, I mean, I think, it's one of those times where you kind of see what Mike White does. I mean, what else do you have to lose at this point? Right.
Exactly. And the thing is, as you've both kind of mentioned, the Jets, you can't sleep on them anymore. Why? Because they've put themselves back in that conversation of any given Sunday. All right. Any team can win on any given Sunday unless you're named the Houston Texans. All right. As I said in the preview to the Houston Texans weeks ago, they are not an NFL football team. Nobody should respect them. Everybody should start their AAA backup, whoever you got, against the Houston Texans. But you can't do that against the New York Jets anymore. They are a legitimate team. They can come out and do things. Now, nobody in the world would have guessed in a million years they would put up 400 yards with Mike White. Who caught those passes? That's what I was looking at on the stat sheet. Like, who the hell got 100 yards on receiving if they got 400 yards passing? That's just absolutely Anthony, off the wall.
So who wins, the Houston Texans or the Detroit Lions?
The Detroit Lions by far. Wow, way better roster, way better team. The Detroit Lions are still an NFL team. They're just in rebuild mode. They don't want to win right now, nor should they. Right? They have no reason to win.
I think they want to. I think they want to win. No, I think they want to win. They just suck ass right now.
They do. They do suck. There's no question that they suck, but they win 10 out of 10. They win 10 out of 10 matchups against Houston.
John DeMarchi coming in hot with the super chat, man. He says, I believe in the Bills. And I think they play Tampa Bay or the LA Rams in the Super Bowl. But the Jets in New Jersey have won last two at home versus Tennessee and Cincinnati. 2-1 at home and 0-4 on the road. They have a D line with Quentin Williams and rankings, etc. They got a middle linebacker in CJ Mosley. Yes, I agree. The Jets, they have a couple pieces on the defensive side. And
weak at corner, right? Secondary is a little bit weak.
Right. They're definitely a little weak at corner. They got a pretty good safety over there. I think they're just a rebuilding team trying to put everything together. And I think the Bills are going to take them lightly. We've seen this season that it's in the NFL. Any team can win these Sunday. I mean, this isn't college, right? Where the sometimes the talent gap is huge. The level of talent in the NFL is a lot. It's very slim. So anybody can win, right? On any given Sunday if you don't bring your A game. So, but again, we do not expect the Bills to lose to the damn Jets. But however, just like Miami came in here and gave the Bills fits in the first half, kind of reminiscent of how the Bills played the New England Patriots for the past 15 years, right? So it's just one of those things. Go ahead, Eric.
The Bills should blow them out, right? But
yes,
the Jets do play Thursday night this week, at Indianapolis. They have 10 days. They have the extra days to prepare for the Bills, and it's a home game for the Jets. Like, they're going to come out and give their best shot, and what is that? It's, probably not much, right? They might play tough for a quarter. They might have some crazy trick plays or something like that, but no, the Bills are absolutely expected to win. Nobody's saying the Jets are going to upset the Bills at this point.
No. Oh, it's not happening. Hell no. If they do that, I will tat Zach Wilson's name on my face, bro. Like, I swear.
Careful.
I will commit corporate suicide in this thing, dog. I will put that fool's name on my face and a teardrop on this side. So let the Jets beat the Bills. I swear to God, I ain't playing. And I'm a man of my word. So all right, so we got that situated. we got that taken care of. Brian Bowers, what's up? He says, what up, my guys? Hoof that like. You already know what it is. Brian Bowers in the house. That's the homie. Friend of the show for sure. Let's keep it moving with this one. Derrick Henry. The king. Derrick Henry.
Oh, man.
He's out for the season with a foot injury. Now, I'm not saying I wasn't happy when this news came out. I wasn't happy.
No,
you never want to see you never want to see a good player go down. But I mean, if you get hurt, you get hurt. And look, I think Anthony, I think you mentioned something about this maybe earlier in the season. The wear and tear, you know, that I mean, the guy has, I mean, he leads the league in carries, you know, year after year. He's in the top 3, man. And they put, I mean, his body, Derrick Henry's a freak of nature. He's a specimen. But at some point, your body's gonna start to wear down.
What was it, 2 games ago when he had 50 carries or something like that? That's mind blowing. That's insane for a running back, for anybody in the NFL to touch the ball that many times, other than the quarterback taking the snap and not getting hit. But that's insane to touch the ball that many times.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's a lot.
I'm not
sure
get
tackled 50 times.
What point did he get injured in last week's game? Was it half?
I don't know exactly when he got. I think it was like third quarter. I think that's when he got injured.
He's got 7.5 games under his belt this season. He's already got 937 rushing yards, almost 1,000, right? 10 touchdowns rushing. So, I mean, with that extra game, he's on track to, you know, beat Eric Dickerson's record of, 2,105 rushing yards. He only missed it by 78 yards last year.
Right.
You know, and then, we could talk about touchdowns if he picked up the pace a little bit. I mean, LaDainian Tomlinson's at 28. Derrick Henry's at 10. He could be in that top 5 conversation, maybe. It's LaDainian Tomlinson, Sean Alexander, Priest Holmes. Emmitt Smith had 25. I mean, he could be in that conversation for sure. So you just hate to see him go down like this. He is so fun to watch. I think he's a Hall of Famer, and you just don't see a lot of those guys play, right? Like at week in, week out. So it just sucks.
One of the best players in the NFL by far. And the one thing that sucks for Tennessee especially is they're now are technically in the driver's seat in the AFC, right? They beat the Bills. They're better record than Kansas City, who's not even in the conversation at this point. They're leading their division. They're the number 1 seed.
Right.
And you just lose your best player and all of your momentum with
their
it.
Division. All of your momentum
with it.
Their division's
it
cake.
Is. So is ours. I mean, it's not.
I mean, I don't know what Adrian Peterson came out on Twitter. He was posting. I think I can still just saw his highlights. I think I can still do that. It's like, buddy,
Adrian Peterson, you're
Father
not.
Time has caught up to you 3 years ago. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming to the party, my G. But
you're not going to. You're not going to save Ryan Tannehill,
Henry, right? Ryan Tannehill has not been playing great, and I think he benefits greatly from having a guy like Derrick Henry in the backfield. So Tennessee is in trouble.
I mean, McNichols is a good backup, but he's no 30 touch. He's not. Nobody is Derrick Henry. So they can
good in the passing game.
Exactly. They're still there. He's still going to be involved. They're still going to do what they do. They're still going to win some games, but certainly the difference maker in some of those games that were close and that they won. I mean, look at the Bills game. It was Derrick Henry. Any other running back doesn't do what Derrick Henry did to the Bills in that game. So, I mean, it always is. And that changes things for them a lot.
I think it's fair to say Tennessee's no longer in the number 1 seed conversation.
Correct. They are technically in possession.
And they absolutely were last week.
Nobody's going to. Yeah, exactly.
It's a wrap.
That's huge for them. It's a wrap.
Trevor Lawrence is probably the best quarterback in the division right now.
Well,
think about it.
Wentz has been playing. He's been playing pretty good the last few games.
Tannehill,
crucial turnover.
Dog,
can't have that,
bro. You can't look.
I think it's still Deshaun Watson, to be honest.
He's
not
playing,
really
dog.
in the division. Yeah.
I don't know what Deshaun Watson's doing right now. I don't really care what he's doing.
You could put him on any team off the bench right now. He'd probably outplay him.
Somebody said I hate his hair. Who y'all talking about right now? Like, whose hair? John, who y'all talking about? I hate his hair. They be going off in the chat, man.
Henry? Because of his hair. My wife doesn't like his hair either. She said because it hangs out his helmet like that, they should just yank it.
Oh, Trevor Lawrence. Does your wife like your hair, dog?
My hair? What kind of question is
that? You're so cute, baby. You're so cute. All right, let's keep it moving, man. Let's keep it moving. So Derrick Henry's out with a foot injury. We're gonna see
big news.
Big news. It's huge. I mean, I think it definitely affects the landscape of the AFC. Not that we had any question that the Bills are the best team in the AFC. I think that's something that is not debatable. The Bills are the best team in the AFC.
Correct.
And I think that Tennessee they would be a tough opponent in the playoffs given their style, but without Derrick Henry, they're gonna have to figure out a new identity, and I don't think that's something that you could just manufacture. So, hope Derrick Henry gets well. They were saying 6 to 10 weeks. That's what they're trying to say, but he ain't coming back this year. So Jesus is not coming back this year, neither is Derrick Henry. So we're gonna keep it moving. Power rankings through 9 weeks. Do you guys have anything on the power rankings before we even?
First thing I'll say right away: Thursday night football this week was one of the best Thursday night matchups in a very long time, if not ever.
I like the way
Packers
you talk.
with Arizona. That was a great game, and I mean, I picked the Packers to win that game. And the whole time, one of the things I tweeted out is this your king? Is this your guy that is supposed to be the MVP of the league? The guy who's supposed to be all the talk this year? The guy who's supposed to be ahead of Josh Allen? This guy? First of all, the Packers are beatable. This isn't some dominant. This isn't a Rams defense, some crazy good defense. And you're telling me that quarterback in Arizona, Kyler Murray, is MVP of the league?
Talk your shit.
He straight up stunk. I don't care that Deshaun Hopkins went out for a couple quarters or at least one quarter. He was out there back, and they still couldn't do crap. And he looked like crap, throwing passes into the ground, trying to run when he shouldn't have. He looked like a bad decision-making quarterback who did not belong in the conversation. And I can tell you right now, the Arizona Cardinals, we already mentioned that they really haven't beaten anybody. Yeah, the game versus the Rams, but, that was close and whatever. No, I am done with the Cardinals just like I was in the preseason before the season started. They suck. They are not going to get far. They have bad leadership. And when it comes down to the moments that matter most, they can't get it done. And that's what it's going to come down to this season. I do not expect them to win the division. They might make the playoffs, but they aren't going to make any noise in the playoffs versus the teams in the NFC. And that's where I see it. Kyler Murray, he is not an MVP candidate, and he should not be. And anybody who watched that game and said, he's the MVP candidate, you can't play crappy like that and expect to be the MVP.
Okay,
One game or not. One game or not.
He's still having a great season. He's a good quarterback. I wouldn't go that
good.
far, but
he's certainly good, but he's not an MVP.
I do want to highlight a very special person. Where's my guy Eric Schapp? Because he was giving me all kinds of shit last week when I was saying that the Green Bay Packers are going to beat the Cardinals. Oh, yeah. Eric, wherever you are tonight, if you're watching the show, if you're in here, I just want to hear you, buddy. I just want to do a wellness check. Knock, knock. Make sure you're there. Make sure you're home safe. There, Eric. Look. There's my guy, Eric. I love to see you, buddy. I love to see you. I love to see you. How about them Cards now? Like I said, they haven't played anybody yet. Okay, and we're moving on from the Cardinals, but I do appreciate you bringing that up because I almost forgot my good friend Anthony. Yeah. I appreciate you
that was the
extrapolating on the.
It wasn't a blowout. It was a good game. Look,
no, it was.
AJ Green made a mistake in the last play of the game.
Oh my God!
He said
it wasn't that.
It's not like Green Bay is like so much better than Arizona now.
He said I need to go back and see what I said, buddy. I'm telling you what you said. You were talking all kinds of shit. Oh, the Cardinals should be higher in the power rankings.
Right. We did not. We specifically did not include the Cardinals in our top 5 or said maybe they're at 5 or 6. Well, now I wouldn't include them, anywhere near the top 5.
The Packers are a good team. The Packers are a good team. And they beat them without Devontae Adams. Without Devontae Adams, right. So
without Tanyan, without a whole bunch of guys.
Yeah, they got guys coming back. So look, man, any given Sunday, right? Like
Green Bay's a hell of a team. Too.
Arizona is a good team. They are a good team. I just think that just like you can say about the Bills haven't really played anybody. But again, that was my point last week because when you go back and watch the film, you see traits of team with these teams that these are things that are transferable. These are things that you could take from week to week. The NFL is all about matchups, right? And what the Bills do on the field, it translates. It just translates week to week. The Bills are not a perfect product by any means. There's no perfect team in the NFL. I wouldn't even say they have the best roster in the league, right? But what they're doing works. And I think those are things when you evaluate teams, you can't just go look at the record. You have to look at what they're doing on the field as well. So who you play is who you play. Cardinals can't, really do anything about who they play. They play who they play. But, in their division, Seattle's down. The Rams are really good. And who else is over there that I'm forgetting? San Francisco is having a down year. Yeah. I figure San Francisco will be a much better team in a better position, but they're just not looking. They're not looking like themselves. So
they got quarterback problems. I mean, it's just any team with quarterback problems is not doing well. Period.
And now
you're not going too long.
No.
You got me over here spilling my wine.
So give us
Anthony. Right? Who do you got number 1 in power rankings?
That's a really good question. Overall number 1,
are the Bills number 1?
It's really close. No, that's the only reason I'm debating. The Bills are probably second to the Rams at this point in the NFC.
Really?
I mean,
Rams.
Maybe I would still say the Bills. I don't know what team. Nobody has showed me enough for me to say team is the most dominant and the favorite. I
think I trust the Bills quarterback more than the Rams quarterback at this point. We've seen Stafford for a number of years. He just hasn't, risen to the occasion, right? And this is the year there's expectations for that, but we just haven't seen that before. I watch Josh Allen every week rise to the occasion, right? Even this Miami game, they're struggling. Right. Puts the team on his back and scores 3 touchdowns. I mean, I trust the Bills quarterback over the Rams. Now, Green Bay, I could see that argument with them being number 1. I mean, they're on 4th and 5th string receivers. They still go down and score points with a guy like Aaron Rodgers. They got good defense. They can run the football. But the Bills they're scoring so many points. So really strength of schedule, does that matter in power rankings? Because now the Bills really have a nice slate coming up, right?
Everything easy.
It should be 3 wins. I'd be shocked if they lose one of these next few games. It's Jacksonville, and then it's
well, we always talk about
Miami,
that, right? What factors do you take into account? Well, I'll tell you my big arrow up right now. The Dallas Cowboys. They've done nothing but do everything right, and here they are in a competitive game against Minnesota with a backup quarterback again who nobody's ever heard of, who comes in and wins the game. That tells you that it is not just Dak Prescott, but that offense is legit. Their defense can hang. I don't know if my brother Dave, who's a Cowboys fan, is still watching. I saw him come up earlier in the chat, but the Cowboys are legit. And I tell you what, I've been winning some money on those bets. They've been my 5 for 5 pick 4 weeks, and they just keep ringing it in for me because I don't know why they're considered such underdogs every week. And I'm like, this is stupid. This offense is better than this. They're going
because we've seen this team, that roster for years and years now, and they come up short every single year.
Yeah,
it's cool that they're 6-1. They've won 6 in a row. I mean, that's all fun and everything, but they always struggle when it comes around playoff time, key games to get you like the number 1 seed game, right? If it comes down to that for them, we've seen them blow it in the past few years, right?
True. Yeah.
I still think the Bills are number 1 in the power rankings. Look, even with the bye week, there's only 3 teams that have scored more points than them: the Bucks, the Cardinals, and the Rams. That's it.
That's
with a bye week. Only 5. There's no team that's allowed less points than the Bills. They're still number 1.
Yeah.
And there's 5 teams in the league that have allowed 100 more points than the Bills.
Wow. That's a good stat right there.
The Washington football team,
100
more points. And the Bills did have a bye week, so that actually helps them. But still.
Well, I mean, they were still doing that,
Right. Their defense is playing well.
Exactly. That was the way to
go.
Especially in the pass game. But in Kansas City's on that list, which is shocking.
Carl chimes in and says they need to stop handing the ball off and trying to run between the tackles. Quick screen passes outside the hashes. Bring back the McKenzie jet sweep. Well, I'm good on the McKenzie jet sweep.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Well, first of all, thank you for supporting the show. We always appreciate
you,
Carl.
We're not talking about McKenzie tonight. We finally saw that fumble. So.
Now, listen, the Bills, the McDermott's thing, and Brian Dable, they want to be multi-dimensional offense. They want to be 2-dimensional. They want to be able to run when they need to. And our identity is the fact that we can pass the ball all over the field. There is not a blade of grass on this field that Josh Allen cannot touch with the ball in his hand. So that's what they want to do. However, we've come to find out that our running game is shit right now. Anthony, look, hold on. Let me do this real quick.
I mean, Josh Allen, do we count him in the running game?
Listen, I need to mute Anthony right now.
You muted yourself, not me.
I muted me. I'm muting Anthony Romeo right now because I don't want to hear what Anthony has to say about the running backs. Our running backs are trash. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Zach Moss and Devin Singletary ain't it. They're average, average to below average. They're backup quality backs. That's what they are.
We got to stop complaining about the running backs, though.
No, you know what?
Look, this team is really good. They won double digits.
You're done too. Y'all listen to me right now. I'm running the show right now. They are backup quality running backs. They ain't got it. They ain't it. They don't even offer you good pass protection. Okay? Their pass protection is terrible. The lack of vision in the mud when they're going through holes, taking proper angles. They do not do it. They drop passes after pass. I mean, the running backs, they need help. And look, and it's okay. I'm going to bring you guys back in now. But our running backs ain't it.
But that's the thing. You know what my response is every time? Nobody cares. We're still
it matters. It matters.
We're still doing it. They are not all pros.
They are not offense.
I was being nice. You stop it. You stop it. You know I love you. You stop it. Listen, you know what? You just stay pretty and you just listen up, buddy.
Let's talk about the game.
I need you to be with me right now.
I'm trying, buddy, but I just can't do it.
Listen.
No, they're good enough. That's all that matters.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the passing game.
Okay. Let's break it down. Let's talk about the running backs before we get into
last week only.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna mute Anthony. Is Anthony okay? He's good. He's in here.
Quiet.
Okay.
Zach Moss was targeted.
Do your thing, baby.
7 times. He caught six balls for 39 yards.
Yeah.
Singletary targeted 1 time, caught 1 ball for 1 yard.
That's just last week.
Let's talk about rushing.
Let's
talk about rushing.
Okay, Josh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Singletary 7 carries, 28 yards. I mean, you say whatever about. Sure, we want more yards per carry. I mean, you're always going to want that, right? Zach Moss, 8 attempts for 19 yards, right? The problem with this running back room is Josh Allen, he cuts into it.
Yeah,
he's a third of the running yard.
No.
He's the best athlete on the team
because he has to. Because we have average to below. We have below average guard play. Our guard play is awful.
True.
Feliciano is bad. Okay, is bad, and our running backs aren't good.
Carl agrees with you. Look at this super chat here. The offensive line is bad. You cannot run behind this line, and that is part of the problem. We all agree the guards absolute garbage trash right now.
But there are running backs out
a year ago at this time
who don't necessarily need the best offensive line play.
Correct,
and that's what I'm saying. And it's like everybody wants to shit on the role of a running back. I'm not saying the Bills need to be a run heavy team. But when the Bills need to be able, when they need to run the ball, when they need to get 1 yard, 2 yards in short yardage situations, they need to be able to do that. Josh Allen needs to be able to count on his running backs to do that. Josh Allen needs to be able to count on the freaking guard. We lost the game. We lost the freaking game
because Josh Allen slipped.
No.
I mean, give me an example of when Zach Moss has been called.
He got blown up by Jeffrey Simmons
and didn't get it.
He got blown up by Jeffrey Simmons. Stop.
The whole left side. The whole left side collapsed. The whole left side collapsed.
We lost the game.
Really, if you think about it, I think Josh.
The Steelers. Hold on. We lost the game to the Steelers because the offensive line couldn't block 3 people.
Yeah. I think it was more the block punt, but yeah.
Oh my God, Eric, stop.
The offensive line is
bad. It's bad.
According to this is PFF, and
they're the bottom third of the league. Yes, I've read it too. They're bottom.
Nobody on the offensive line last week allowed a quarterback pressure except for John Feliciano. He's the only one.
God. You act like the Dolphins have like premier pass rush.
I was just about to say.
That's the sample size that we got right now.
How many times did Josh Allen actually get a clean pass?
I mean, you're complaining about the running backs, but it's like
it starts up front with the line.
We don't
have a threat. We do not have a threat in the backfield, and you guys can say whatever you want, but that's why we took our little cute ass in the playoffs and got our ass kicked because we could not be multidimensional on the offensive side of the ball. We lost because we could not play man-to-man against the Kansas City Chiefs. We could not block Chris Jones consistently. He blew us up.
That was last year.
And if the same problems, we did not address the offensive line as a whole. We drafted, Doyle, and we drafted Spencer Brown, who's come in and been a nice surprise.
Yeah, Spencer Brown looks even better right now.
Cody Ford hasn't panned out. We re-signed Feliciano, who's bad, and we had to move Darrell Williams to guard, and he's getting better, but he's not there where we need him to be yet. And I hope he gets better, but Feliciano is the weakest link. And you got left tackle Deion Dawkins coming off of COVID, and he's still trying to get his win. It's okay to criticize the line.
I don't think they're as bad as you think.
They are. Well, they better.
No, that's the problem.
Show me something else.
I'm with Sterling here because I think that whatever stats you throw out, whatever things, they've definitely looked worse than the stats show because they have Josh Allen who makes up for it. Josh Allen doesn't get sacked. Josh Allen gets free. Josh Allen doesn't get a QB pressure because he gets a ball out before they hit him. Josh Allen gets flags thrown when he gets hit. So a lot of that is picked up by Josh Allen. They look worse than what they are.
What you're working with, though. I mean, if Josh Allen had a clean pocket in every single play, he's still going to run.
Sometimes, yes.
He's still going to roll out.
But that's part
that game. They dropped 8 guys, and
game.
Josh Allen was literally walking for 10 yards. He was like, okay, nobody's here. I mean, yeah, give it to him.
I understand what you're saying. But the thing is, though, we don't want to have to rely on Josh Allen to always be the catalyst that drives the offense. We have to be able to, when it's not there for Josh Allen, who is he going to depend on? Like, the ball comes through Josh Allen to get to Diggs, to get to Sanders, to get to Beasley. But when you go to the backfield, if Josh Allen is our best rusher as well, that's a problem.
Okay, I just don't understand because
our goals. Okay. Go ahead.
We just talked about this before the show. We are in football nirvana.
Hold on. Let me hold on. Alan, you're so wrong. I'm not fucking wrong about this. I'm sorry, buddy.
Hoof could be any of us.
I don't care.
I'm not sure who
we're not wrong on this.
We're in football nirvana, though. Back to my point, where the Bills are winning by double digits every single week. Okay, they blew one in Tennessee. Tennessee played a hell of a game. Okay, week 1, blocked punt. That's going to happen. The Steelers are a phenomenal defense. But we got to find something to complain about. I feel like they're winning by double digits. We just said they're the best team in the league in the power rankings and backed up our
I said
argument.
they're the second best team in the league. But
okay.
all I'm saying is
one or two.
The second
but here we go, though.
Stop beating the players
that's standard. You're talking standard and expectation. I'm talking about Super Bowl. And if you want to win a Super Bowl, you have to be able to get it done both ways. Because if you're in Buffalo, what happens when it freaking snows and the winds are going crazy? When he has to hand the ball off to Singletary and he falls on his damn face.
No, Josh ain't handing the ball to Singletary.
Because John Feliciano can't freaking block.
Throw it.
And you have to put Ike Bacher in. Like, come on, man. Come on, dog.
Ike Bacher's looking better now.
Come on, man.
Feliciano.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying the Bills have to be this dominant rushing team, but when we need them, they have to be able to deliver.
I don't think they've been called. Okay. I remember in the last year or so.
What are you watching?
The running backs have been called, right? The game plan was to run the football the entire day, was versus New England last year. And I thought they answered the call for that. Like, Singletary stepped up, Zach Moss stepped up last year. Since then, I don't think the running game has been the primary game plan in any of the games, really.
No. Okay, so what happens when
I don't think they've been asked to do a lot.
Why did the Bills lose against the Chiefs last year? From an offensive standpoint. Why? No. If you're going to talk about last year, let me talk about last year then.
Okay, but listen to what you just said, though. The Chiefs beat a lot of teams last year.
No,
phenomenal team.
Why did the Bills lose? Because one, it starts at the offensive line, my guy. They could not block Chris Jones and the Chiefs defensive front. And then on the outside, the DBs were cheating all game with holding.
Oh, they also couldn't stop Tyreek Hill.
The Bills had no answer.
The best players in the league.
When the Chiefs cheated and they held the Bills receivers, because we do not run the ball, we could not do it. Nobody thinks, oh yeah, we got a Devin Singletary and Zach Moss. They don't care. They are going against light boxes every week, and they still are ineffective
because we're past first team.
So when both Singletary and Moss have a 100-yard game this weekend, are you going to rescind what you say or no? Because we're playing shit teams right now. So they're going to rack up the yards. And I agree that they're mediocre. I'm not saying
you can get 100 yards against the Jaguars.
I'm telling you, yeah. So what are you looking for? Because I'm agreeing with Eric on this point. They have not been the focal point of the offense. again, my response to your whole rant about them not doing it, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. They are good enough, and that's all they need to be. Is good enough.
Good enough doesn't get you a Super Bowl.
Good enough will get us a Super Bowl from the running back position.
Oh no,
because we have every other position.
You're gonna have to be able to run effectively.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to be able to do both.
I
don't expect the running backs to be as effective as Josh Allen, but when it's 3rd and 3, 4th and 1. Why does my quarterback have to get the yards? Why can't we hand it off to the running backs and have them do it?
Because Josh Allen's the better option.
It's true. He's just the best player.
Exactly.
He's better. He's better, but he's better than many running backs.
Derrick Henry, exactly. Unless you have Derrick Henry, I'm giving it to Josh Allen.
I'll take Josh Allen over 25 starting running backs.
I know. Because, Sterling, I agree with you on some points. If we're getting to this Dolphins game, I got a lot to say about that.
Let's get this. You know what? That was a good discussion. I love to argue. But let's go on and get to the Inside Slant. This is the segment, the part of the show where we talk all things Buffalo Bills. We're going to talk about this game against the Dolphins last Sunday. And as we continue on with the show, we will talk about the Jaguar game coming up this Sunday. So every single week when we talk about the game before, we like to talk about 3 takeaways from Sunday. 3 takeaways. We all give a little point of emphasis, excuse me. It is the 19 Crimes that I'm drinking that I love so much. This show is not sponsored by 19 Crimes, but 19 Crimes, if you want to go ahead and be a sponsor on this show, get at your boy. All right, here we go. 3 things. One of the things that I really appreciated, and I'm going to bring a little something up, but Josh Allen, man, when we talk about X's and O's and what Josh Allen's able to do pre-snap, we can't show NFL video on these shows, but what I want to show you, this is a still, and this is a play here where you got a 2x2 set. Okay, you got one running back here who's irrelevant. We call him Devin Singletary, is his actual government name, but you're gonna see our running backs here. They're playing. This is a cover 1. You see one safety here, and they're playing man defense. Okay, so you got a inside slot receiver here. You got Cole Beasley here. This is the receiver that we're going to pay attention to. But these wide receivers are running 4 verticals. That is 4 routes that are going straight out. I don't know if you can see my mouse here, but they're going straight out. Okay, what I really appreciate, one of the things that Josh Allen does so well is when the ball is snapped. I can't show you this, but it's the eye manipulation here, and you're gonna notice that this safety right here, okay, his responsibility is to kind of chase the ball here, right? It's 4 verticals, okay. But what Josh needs to do, he needs to open up this area of the field, and he needs to open up this area of the field. These are the seams, right? Okay, so you can either look here. I mean, all this is open. This is man coverage. So whoever is able to beat their man that's money time. This is probably your primary goal right here, okay? Because that's Emmanuel Sanders there, and he's a quick-footed receiver, and all they have to do is run a go route and a little fade. I mean, and I don't expect this safety here to be able to cover that much ground. But nobody cares about Devin Singletary, who we don't care about. But anyway, the Cole Beasley is the guy we're going to focus on. And when you look at the second still here, you see that, and you don't get to see, but Josh has already thrown the ball left over here to Cole Beasley. But what he had to do was he had to manipulate this safety using his eyes and body to get that safety to kind of shift to the right. And when he does that, he's opening up a window right over here, and Cole Beasley catches a first down. And those are the kind of things that we need to do. The reason why Cole Beasley he's an extension of the run game because Josh Allen relies on him so much when things aren't going well. That's why Beasley had 10 catches in this game because, one, the Bills don't have a running game that they can really depend on. So Josh Allen's a quarterback that likes to press and likes to, get big plays in the passing game with his legs and so forth.
Go ahead. Teeing up? It sounds like you're teeing up your big takeaway. I don't know what it is. You kind of hit a couple of points there. That's why I'm wondering, was your big takeaway about Josh Allen or about
the big takeaway is that Josh Allen is just, when it comes to pre-snap and making windows to pass through, he does a really good job. He's really good at these are things that you don't get to see on when you watch the game live, but he's able to manipulate safeties and linebackers with his eyes and how he moves and shifts his body. And so when you do that effectively, it opens up space and passing windows to complete passes. And that was on a third down to get Beasley open and get kind of the offense in rhythm. And so he's able to do that very well. So again, we can't show video, due to NFL copyright, but I could show you a few stills. And so that's what I wanted to show there. But
he's a beast.
Josh Allen is a beast, man. And so that was one of the things that, and this is a couple stills is one I want to show you guys. But Josh Allen, man, people want to talk about, we've heard the narrative that, he's regressed, right? People have said, he's not what he was last year and so forth. But man, what Josh Allen is able to do, right? What he's able to do pre-snap, post-snap, that's just maturation and growth that Josh Allen continues to display and put forth each and every week. And we're starting to see him get better and better even each and every week this season. So
that
he is
was
very
MVP
much,
play right there. That's what that was.
That is
MVP. He put him on his shoulders and he did what he had to do.
Yeah. And we saw Josh Allen get extremely frustrated in the first half when things weren't working, where he can't hand the ball off to Singletary and Moss and have them get tough yards when he needs them to, or when they hand the ball off on first down and they get 0 yards, whether it's the running back's fault or it's the line's fault, they're at fault, right? Those things matter. And so that was my takeaway from the game. So Eric, we'll start with you. Anthony, will end with you. What are some of the things that you liked about this game?
Yeah, I forgot to bring my my film and stuff, but I just want to say, Cole Beasley is still a very important skill set for this offense. I know they've kind of gotten away from him with Emmanuel Sanders coming in. I mean, statistically, he hasn't been what we expected or what he was last year, right? But like you said, when things get tough, Cole Beasley's still the go-to, right? He seems to be like the comfort zone for Josh Allen. And really, talking about, moving forward, the MVP not named Josh Allen. It's Cole Beasley in this game. First half, 2 receptions, 21 yards. They make adjustments at halftime. It involves Cole Beasley heavily. 8 receptions, 89 yards in the second half. The offense scores 3 touchdowns, all on Josh Allen. That's just, that's what Cole Beasley was last year. And that he's a big part of this offense. We talked about running backs, not living up to Sterling standards. And that's because I think Cole Beasley, right? It's easier for them to just run a quick route with Cole Beasley to get 3 yards, to get 5 yards. And a lot of times it turns into a first down. So I think Cole Beasley is still a very important skill set for this offense. I think moving forward, when the games get tough, when you're playing for that number 1 seed, when we get to the playoffs, you're going to see a lot of Cole Beasley. So I think maybe they're just trying to keep him off the film, maybe so they can use it later in the year, because he is the most reliable receiver in this offense.
Yeah. I love that point, and he really is. Like I was saying, Cole Beasley is an extension of that run game, and maybe I kind of agree with you guys in this part where maybe the Bills just maybe need to rely more on the passing game and kind of just scrap the run game because it's not working. Whether it's the running back's fault or the line's fault from the guard play, it's just not effective. And so you try to run the ball on first down, right? Or run the ball on, they kind of pass on first down, run the ball on second down, pass on third down. It's kind of the MO of this offense. Running on second down is hurting Josh Allen because they're not
telling
getting
you. I hated it all game.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I'm like, red zone. If I see one more stupid goddamn run up the gut in the red zone, I don't care if we're on the goal line. Don't run it up the goddamn gut. You've done it 25 times this season, and it's worked for all of 0 yards, if not negative. Stop calling plays that don't work. They're not magically going to work for this team. You can't run up the gut in the red zone. It does not work week after week after week after week after red zone appearance. They keep doing it. Second down.
Right.
And
I feel like a lot of
yards.
Defenses are spying Josh Allen, right? So I think they're trying to catch him off guard.
No, it's just
but it's just not effective. I agree with you.
But don't you think that's a problem moving forward? We need to see them be more multiple as we get into the playoffs, because that's when it matters. Having Emmanuel Sanders, that totally helps. Having Emmanuel Sanders is a big key.
But that's
when
what
Dawson Knox get backs is going to help. But right now, man, you got to be able to run the football. Yep,
you have to, but still rely. If that's what works for you, and you've driven down the whole field in the pass game, don't all of a sudden start wasting a down by doing a run up the gut or around and getting 1 yard when you know you're better off just calling a pass play and seeing if somebody gets open in the end zone. It's the same damn thing, only you actually have a shot of getting the touchdown. That was just my personal frustration because it's not been this game or one game. It's every single game that they've done this. And as we know, the Bills have struggled in the red zone in general, and part of it is bad play calling in my mind. That's bad play calling. You call the same play that doesn't work ever, and you keep trying it. It's not working. Try something
They
else.
hope Josh can just run it in every time. It's
That's worked a few times, but only when you can catch the defense off guard.
You guys are making some really good points, and I don't even have to yell at you tonight.
Can we all have a prayer for, by the way, our guy, Cole Beasley? Can we all say thank the Lord, heavens, whatever gods you believe in?
Go ahead.
For him shutting down his social media account. That is the greatest thing that has ever happened. We all were worried about. I mean, it just got way out of hand with him. Now he thought he was getting booed by the fans and all that. Now, ever since it's been silent for a couple weeks, now he shows up again and he said turning it off was the best thing he ever did. Yes, it was better for the team, better for you, better for everybody. Thank God we've moved on from that situation. Have your own personal thoughts. Leave them at that. Don't try and spread them all over the world the way he is. But it's fine because it was bad for the team. Now he's turning into great for the team. So
do you guys
thank God for that.
Do you guys have any prevailing thoughts on the game? I thought Ed Oliver was fantastic.
I do. So I haven't done mine. Yep. Ed Oliver was going to be one of my shout outs for the game. Obviously, Tyler Bass hit the 57-yard field goal, which was a monster. And that thing would have been good from 70. It was a little bit to the right. It may not have made it, but that had enough leg to go like 70. I mean, it was mid distance. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, he's
that
a
was
special
good
talent.
from a long way. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if you saw the photo of the touchback.
Funny how a couple of us believed that when he was drafted, but one of us was a little skeptical and said no.
And like we said pre-game or pre-show, where's that kicker from New England that got drafted ahead of Tyler Bass?
Not even in the NFL.
I have every right to criticize kickers because historically they don't do so hot when they're rookies, right? But Tyler Bass is certainly the outlier, and I'm glad he's on our team.
Yeah.
But did you see the picture of the touchback? And Tyler Bass's ball was like through the upright, like way through the upright.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Special.
Eric, you've like,
hate on kickers.
You can't speak on kickers the entirety of our existence.
Hey.
Because Eric, Anthony.
Remember when he missed that one extra point?
Get him.
And you were like,
you're asking me to be bad cop.
Get him, Anthony. Get him.
I'll be bad cop the rest of the year. When Tyler misses one.
You don't get to say nothing nice about T-Bass.
We've talked a lot of good about this game, and yes, the Bills won, and that's great. There's two definite, oh my God, points I want to make. One is the referees, which it seems like we talk about all the time, but very absolutely egregious in this game. Some things I've never, again, it seems like the one thing I have definitely never seen before is a player on the offensive line's helmet literally get knocked off and nobody bats an eye at anything. Like our offensive lineman got his helmet knocked off on the big play on 4th down, big play by Miami, deep ball to Mike Gesicki, who pushed off during the play. So there were 2 missed penalties on that play, but absolutely ignored the fact that 3 seconds into the snap, a player gets his helmet. How does a player lose his helmet without a hands to the face call? I don't understand how a lineman gets his helmet shoved off without a hands to the face call.
There's high winds in Buffalo.
Yeah, right. It just magically. But the replay didn't show it. The refs didn't even mention it. They didn't call the push off that second. I mean, it was absolutely egregious. In the first half, the very first possession of the game by the Dolphins, Tua's leg was down. He got sacked. McDermott didn't challenge it, but the refs didn't call it. They called it an incomplete pass. And I'm like, what did they see? His whole foreleg is down. His knee below is down. But no, they called it an incomplete pass. And there was just so many calls that I kept saying to myself, the Bills can't complain because you cannot put yourself in a position to let the referees beat you. That's for sure. The one horrible, the one that Josh Allen was screaming was when the Dolphins stepped off sides on our 4th down, and Josh Allen ended up getting sacked on what should have been.
I feel like that's not the first time that's happened this year either. I feel like this.
And Josh Allen was like, "Dude, he stepped," and you could see on the replay he clearly jumped. Yeah. So I don't know what they were saying there. Apparently they said he didn't pass the ball or whatever. I don't know. It wasn't far enough off, but it was just terrible play callings. The refs were garbage, but you cannot let the refs beat you. So that brings me to my big issue with this game, which was the first half in general. This is very uncharacteristic of a Sean McDermott team and was highly concerning to me. I mean, through the roof concerning. You don't win a Super Bowl when you look like this. Coming out of a bye week, Sean McDermott has been strong, usually very good out of the bye. Nobody was ready in that first half. They took this game as a joke. Nobody was serious in that first half. Sean McDermott was still sleeping on a cot in the freaking locker room. What the hell are you doing? So let me get this straight, Sean McDermott. You trust your guys so much. You love your guys no matter what. 10 out of 10 times, 4th and 1, you're going for it with Josh Allen because you trust. So it's 4th and maybe 2 yards, more like 1.5 at the 50-yard line. Your defense is playing like absolute shit, and you don't go for it? You kick a fucking punt that ends up going out of bounds? Sean McDermott, get the hell out of here. Wake up. The bye week was last week, buddy. Get back in the game. Get your head back in the game. I was very disappointed in that first half. Sean McDermott, worst half of his play calling, and just as a coach in general in over 2 years. Worst half of football for him in well over 2 years. It was maybe the worst ever. It was that bad. Listen, everything that could have went wrong. The defense snoring on their couches. Where were you? Wake the frig up. You're kidding me? You're giving up a 100-yard receiver in the first half on the Miami Dolphins to Tua? Yeah. You can't get pressure on Tua?
He's still an NFL player. I mean, Devontae Parker is done.
Every single position was
hold on, dog. Listen, y'all
every single position, brother. It was bad. Let me tell you, it was so bad that they ain't gonna win nothing if they keep looking like that, brother. It was the only thing that happened. The only reason it wasn't worse.
And he's still talking. Like, dog, shut your ass up.
The only reason it wasn't worse is because it was against the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins beat themselves in that first
I agree with that because
everything
I think
Miami
Dolphins should have at least been up 2 scores. On the Bills
easily. They couldn't do anything right.
Here's the result of
no defense, no Bills offense. Bass did what he did. But
here's the result of the Bills' drives in the first half.
Garbage.
Punt, field goal, punt, turnover on downs, end of half. Come out in the third quarter. Give Sean McDermott credit for halftime adjustments.
Yeah, exactly. Man. Listen,
they come out in the third quarter, punt, touchdown.
He made adjustments versus a team that literally beat themselves. So yes, they did do what they had to do. Josh Allen stepped up. Cole Beasley stepped up. Sean McDermott looked a lot better in the second half. But it was still that coming out in a game like that, because as we've all said, the next 3 games are against crap opponents. You have to win them.
Hey, Anthony,
you can't show up like that. You don't win Super Bowls showing up to any game like that. You cannot have a
right.
Like
you're
that.
Right. I mean, they definitely
any good team that's not a bottom 5 feeder showing up like that. Period.
So
no matter what you do in the second half.
Let's talk about what we do know. So we do know that coming out of the bye, well, we know going into the bye, the Bills aren't they don't typically win games going into the bye under Sean McDermott. Now we know that they are 5-0, I believe, when coming out of the bye. Let's bring this all back to context. So when anytime you beat the shit out of the Dolphins 35-0 week 2, okay? And this is a division game, so there's some familiarity there. And I think as Bills fans and content creators and analysts, right, it's hard. It's really hard. And
most ever in the we've had some good.
What do we know about Josh Allen? Josh Allen is very much an emotional player. Where not that he needs things to go right, but he has to get into that mode. And when things don't necessarily, whether it's his fault or not, when things aren't happening the way you need them to, and the offense sputters, it in a negative way, I think it fuels him negatively, where he feels like he has to start pressing. And like I said, when you can't depend on your offensive line at the guard, and you can't depend on your running backs to make things happen, all that responsibility gets placed on Josh Allen. And so they started off slow. And
he didn't get back on the field after that 4th turnover where he was literally screaming. He ran on the field. We never seen him do that, right? He was screaming at the refs for that one.
Right. And then you talk about saying
expletives.
But the Miami Dolphins play more. They've played more man coverage against the Bills than any other team this year. They really believe in that mix of that man zone, whereas the Bills have really seen a lot of zone defenses this year. So it's about adjusting, and I myself got wrapped up just like you guys did. Like, man, the Bills should be smoking them, but and then I calmed down. I'm like, okay, let's put this into context. Like, it's a divisional opponent. Brian Flores, as much as people want to say he's whatever he is, he's still a good defensive coordinator. He comes from that Bill Belichick tree. I mean, so, when I look back at it, okay, I see, all right, the Bills got it together in the second half and they made things happen. That's one of the things that I really do appreciate about this coaching staff is they are the ability to make adjustments. Whereas we've seen coaching staffs here with the Bills, like Rex Ryan and some others that really aren't good at making halftime adjustments. So the fact that we do have a coaching staff that can make halftime adjustments and you can see those tangible things, the progress is really good. So we know that the Bills don't necessarily play that well coming out of the bye, right? They won games, but they start off slow. Is it a problem like you mentioned, Anthony? Yeah, I think they probably need to make it their goal to try to start off faster throughout the season because I think it can come back and bite them in the butt.
The difference this year was we were playing a crap opponent that we're supposed to beat the shit out of, and we didn't. But in previous years, even last year, it was, what are the Bills going to do after the bye? Because they're facing the gauntlet now. And we ran it down. We won every game after that. So, I mean, they literally put a pounding last year. Now it's like, what do you do when you can relax for the next 3 weeks? And they did not show up for that first half, which is very concerning because you can't do that when it comes, okay, you're going to win these next 3 games. You can't start strutting like you're hot stuff because it comes down to the brass tacks when you face New England, who's going to be a tough opponent. Indy, who, I mean, I still expect us to win that game pretty well, but it's still, there's some better opponents coming down the pipe. And then obviously the playoffs when you face the best of the best.
Well, also, I think, the Bills are getting media hype every single week. I mean, every single analyst on, national analysts, us, local analysts, everyone's saying the Bills are going to beat the Dolphins 40-0, 40-10, 50-20. I mean, the other team sees that stuff. These are still NFL players. They still have pride. They're going to come out and give their best shot, right? And I think that's kind of what Miami did. They were dominating the line of scrimmage in the first half, so they get some credit for that. But I think that's going to continue to be a problem for the Bills. You're going to get everybody's best shot, at least early in games. So you're going to have to rise to the occasion on that, right? You can't come out slow, like Anthony's saying, because it will bite you one day, right? There's upsets in the NFL every single week, and the Bills are not, that they're going to.
The Dolphins could not line up right to save their life, right? That fumble where it bounced off Mike Gesicki because he was going across when they snapped. It literally could not have gotten worse for Miami. They should have scored plenty of times and been up huge over the Bills. Yeah. The only reason they were not, our defense didn't even have to be on the field, all right? They did not do anything. They sucked in that first half. So, yeah, we gave up only 3 points. It had nothing to do with them and everything to do with what Miami couldn't do, which was line up right and run a play.
And that's been we talked about that pregame. Right. Two was just the critical mistakes, right? Maybe it wasn't so much him in this game, but it was more the offense in general. But they just make crucial game-killing mistakes. And that's why they're a 1-7 team, and they're not a 10-6 team like they were last year. They just got to stop with those crucial mistakes.
And we don't know what was going on in that huddle. If it was Tua, Gesicki seemed to be mad at Tua. It looked like it anyway. Yeah, after that play. And he was like, come on, you're supposed to be here. You're supposed to be there. I mean, they didn't know where they were going. I've never seen that in an NFL offense before where literally it was 5 or 6 plays where the Bills were looking terrible and the Dolphins just couldn't get it together and line up and run a good play. They were constantly looking at each other. Oh, what's that play call mean? Oh, so I don't know. Maybe they changed the playbook because they thought the Bills were going to hear something or do something, and that's what screwed it up. Or maybe it was Tua. If it was Tua, I'd be very concerned if I'm the Dolphins right now. But they weren't happy. They weren't getting it done. That's for sure.
Let's put a bow on this game here. Christian Wilkins. Wikipedia got a hold of Christian Wilkins' profile here, and it says American football defensive end for the Miami Dolphins of the National Football League. He played college at Clemson, which we all know was drafted by the Dolphins in the first round of 2019 draft. He is the son of Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen. Josh Allen actually trucked my guy. He trucked that dude, and it was a glorious scene, and that's why Christian Wilkins got up and Josh Allen was waving by. So see you next year, buddy. Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley finished with 5 receptions and 86 yards while lying in the slot against Miami in Week 8. That is from Next Gen Stats. That is awesome. It's awesome for
one of the guys we mentioned last week that might have had to step up in the absence of Dawson Knox, and he did, right? And Gabe Davis made an appearance in this game too.
Right. So, hey, it's all good. We're gonna keep it moving here. So we kind of wrapped up, the Dolphins game, and we're kind of running behind here on the show. But let's go ahead and talk about. We're going to get into the Jaguars coverage. And before we do that, we want to make sure that you guys like, follow, and subscribe Cover One and the Hoof podcast. And just so you guys know that this show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can start drafting in minutes. If you guys are in the market of using resources, we call them resources nowadays, to make gains in life. To buy your girl a Birkin, buy her a bag, buy her some wings. If you want to buy her a little diabetes cake, you could do that by using Underdog Fantasy. You could play player props, right? And parlays. You could do all those things, all those fine things. We don't say the B word here there in Buffalo, New York, because you can't do that. Okay. But out here in these streets, y'all better make sure you guys download the Underdog Fantasy app. And when you sign up, use the promo code COVER1 and you will get $10 added to your first deposit. So look, Underdog is saying, you know what, guy? You know what, lady? You're going to join us. We're going to give you $10. You don't even have to work for that. We're giving you $10. So anyways, if you guys want to win a little extra money on the weekends, do what you got to do. Hey, go to Underdog Fantasy and you can sign up in minutes. Enter the promo code COVER1 where you can get free money. All right, that's that. All right, so let's kind of shift our focus to the Jacksonville Jaguars, okay? Now we know that the Jacksonville Jaguars are starting a rookie quarterback by the name of Sunshine, Trevor Lawrence. This team is headlined and led by the old finger in the old shoot, Urban Meyer.
Gosh.
And, the Bills are going to the state of Florida this weekend. Again, we cannot take any opponent not seriously because, again, the Bills are the hunted. They're the best team in the AFC, one of the best teams in the NFL. And so you are going to get their best shot. I think, looking at this Jaguars team, I think there are some things that they could do that could cost the Bills fits. They do. DJ Chark is injured. He's out for the season, but they do have a guy named Laviska Shenault, Marvin Jones Jr. Those are real guys that you have to be aware of. Laviska Shenault is one of those guys that we all love for the Buffalo Bills. And I know you and I, the three of us together, we really like Laviska Shenault because he's right from our backyard here in Denver, Colorado. He went to school in Boulder here. And he's just one of those, short yardage, run after the catch guys that looks like a running back, something that we all thought Sammy Watkins was or is. And that's what he does. So when he catches the ball, point of attack, he's not afraid to jump up there and go get it. He shows poise, maintains poise at the catch point. He can run you over. He is a load to handle. So we know the Bills struggle when it comes to tackling. Tre'Davious White and some of these guys are not really good at tackling. We miss tackles a lot. And so if we don't get it together, the Jaguars could score about 17 points. I didn't say they win, but they can score about 17 points.
If we really don't get it together.
I want to see them score about this many. That's about 10. That's what I want to see. We're going to see what happens, right? But, hey, this is an NFL team. These are grown men that get paid just like our guys do. So we need our guys to come out and start off fast, make them one-dimensional. This team does not have Travis Etienne and so forth. He's one of my favorite guys in the draft. I know we didn't draft him, nor did the Bills get a running back in the first round, whatever. I know. I heard it. Listen, I know. But this is a team that they have some guys on the offensive side of the ball. So my question is every single week, this is our preview against the Jaguars. How can the Bills win on offense? What do the Bills need to do to win on offense? So before I let you go, Eric, and then I'm gonna go to you, Anthony. I just want to let you guys know, this team here, they have the likes of, you can see guys like Josh Allen he has 4 sacks this year. He's a good end. Miles Jack is an athletic linebacker. Kayvon Chaisson, he's a LSU draft pick from a couple years back. Not living up to what we all thought he'd be. From a cornerback standpoint, they don't really have much in their secondary. They got Shaquille Griffin from the Seahawks. Andrew Wingard is a Jim Leonard type of player. He's one of those really try hard, makes plays every now and then guys. Tyson Campbell's a rookie out of Georgia, 6'2", has really good speed. I think he's struggling this season finding the ball in the air. So this is a team that they struggle on the defensive side of the ball. I think offensively, they're pretty decent. They're in the middle of the pack in most statistical categories. Headlined by a rookie quarterback who can run with his feet, but also he can make plays with his arms. So, Eric, what are your thoughts going into this game against the Jaguars?
We're talking offense. Bills.
How can the Bills win on offense?
Well, I'd say you can air it out against this team, right? The Jaguars are allowing 278 yards per game in the passing game. It's 28th in the league, tied for 28th. And the Bills are number 1. I'm trying to find their passing yards per game. Their average passing yards per game, the Bills are 6th right now. So, there's a mismatch right there just looking at the numbers. But I think you can attack these corners with the Bills receivers, right? I think they're, Shaquille Griffin, I think, is a decent player. But I think he's more physical. If you can get the finesse game out of Diggs and Emmanuel Sanders, I think you could definitely attack him and get some yards. But I think this game falls right into the Bills' hands, honestly. I think there's a lot of things you could do against this team. They're struggling, obviously. But their front 7, I think, is a lot better than their secondary. So I think the game plan should be heavy pass, air it out, because that's absolutely the Bills' strength right now.
Yeah, I would agree with everything Eric said in terms of the pass game. It's probably your go-to in this one until you're up by 30, and then you start running the ball every play, as we know they will. But which is fine when you're up by 30. That's why I said earlier that they could potentially have 200-yard rushers in this game. The biggest thing that I think of is the offensive line. Yes, you have to show up for this team, first of all. Don't overlook them just because they're a crap team. They're going to be coming out wanting to beat you because that would be a statement win for them. I don't think they could play their best and beat the Bills. On their absolute best, MVP caliber for every single one of them, they can't beat the Bills, I don't think. But in this case, you have to come out and make a statement and show that you can win against these dirty teams and not do what you did against Miami and come crap out in the first half. I really think your offensive line, this has to be a get-right game for the offensive line. Please, Spencer Brown, be healthy, because can we talk about how much of an MVP Spencer Brown looks like now after seeing our offensive line without him?
I think Ike Bacher held his own, though. 100% of snaps, no pressures allowed.
Oh, that's pretty good, actually. Yeah, that is.
Coming off the bench, it's pretty good.
Just in general, he's been a star player for us, and we want him back out there, and Bacher can switch to the other side and get, Ford. Cody Ford saw the field in this last game against Miami, and I was like, oh, crap. Cody Ford's going out there, for God's sake. Not a good sign. So whoever's out there for the offensive line, as we said, the defense, the front 7 is respectable for this Jacksonville Jaguars team. This ain't an easy matchup. It's one that you should win. Our offensive line should be better than them. But when you got guys like Miles Jack and obviously Josh Allen, the matchup we've all been waiting for, Josh Allen versus Josh Allen, it's going to be competitive out there. I want to see the offensive line protect Josh Allen. I want to see Josh Allen throwing from a clean pocket, which we haven't seen in a long time. And like Eric alluded to, air it out, pass the ball, get it out there. Don't be afraid of the 1-on-1, the 2-on-1. They can't really hang with our receivers. So at least in the secondary, it's all about giving Allen the time, Josh Allen, the time to get that done and not be pressured and constantly running out of the pocket, because, they could capitalize on a big turnover if they sack Josh Allen and he fumbles and, they score. That would not be good for the Bills to start the game or at any point in the game, really. So please, offensive line, show up and look decent in this game.
Yeah, I think you guys bring up some really good points. I think every game that the offensive line is key. We need to see continued improvement. I want to see the Bills be able to run the ball effectively. I want to see the line open up some holes. I know we put a lot of pressure on Mitch Moore, Spencer Brown, and Deion Dawkins at left tackle, and I think the weaknesses is guard play right now, and specifically left guard. And I think Darrell Williams is hit or miss at this point right now. So I want to see them be able to run the ball effectively when it's time to run the ball. Pass protection needs to improve. I think anytime you give Josh Allen time to throw the ball, time to survey the field, get out of the pocket, make throws, that he's more dangerous that way. But thank God Josh Allen is a very talented quarterback that can make plays with his legs. We saw that on a 23-yard run against the Dolphins last week, and we've seen it all season long since he's been a Buffalo Bill. The ability to escape the pocket, locate receivers downfield, make plays off script. What we mentioned earlier in the show, eye manipulation to suck in linebackers and safeties and so forth. Ball placement's been better this year. Those are things that we want to see continue to improve. But yeah, I think in this game, I think the Bills can win on offense. You got to take advantage of these cornerbacks. I mean, these are not very good cornerbacks. You have a rookie out there who's going to guard Stephon Diggs and Emmanuel Sanders. There's some advantageous matchups there. I would like to see them spread it out. This is one of those games where we saw Cole Beasley get off last week with his performance. I want to see more of a rhythmic offense. I want to see Josh Allen be able to, it's not about airing the ball out, but it's about finding the answers early and often, whether that's, check downs, whether that's, I want to see more crossing routes and so forth. I'd like for them to methodically move the ball down the field and get up early, improve the red zone offense, which has been a problem this year. They have to, I understand we look at this from week to week, but I think we have to start looking at, it's not us because we don't play, but the players look at it week to week. We look at it from, okay, we know this team has the ability to play in a Super Bowl, to win an AFC Championship game. They have to be able to, the games that they're supposed to win, that obviously they have to win. They're going to win them, but we want to see them do them convincingly and get better and put building blocks on this stuff moving forward. I think that's the big deal. Getting Spencer Brown back and healthy, more comfortable playing right tackle. Those are huge. Maybe it's Darrell Williams getting better at right guard. And I mean, you should never have to, when one guy subs out, you shouldn't have to use three guys to fill different spots on the offensive line. That's a problem that Brandon Beane's going to have to address this coming offseason. I think guard is probably high on his list. A running back that can, be effective when they need him to in short yard situations. Those things are important. And I don't think, what you guys were mentioning earlier in the show and what I mentioned, they're both right. We just don't know when they're going to address them, and we hope that they address them this coming offseason. Emmanuel Sanders might not be coming back, so you're going to have to address the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
Gabriel Davis is not a number 2 wide receiver. He's just not. He's probably just a traditional number 4 wide receiver, and that's his ceiling, and that's okay. But you have to find guys, and right now is not the time. And the Bills decided not to make any moves at the trade deadline. I thought that they were going to make a couple moves, but it just didn't happen. And it is what it is. I still think this is a roster. This is a roster that can still can compete, and it's one of the best rosters in the NFL.
Yeah.
So. But it's fun to speculate and get excited about potential moves and potential deals.
Are we going to talk about the trade deadline? Yeah, because this is an interesting topic for me because it's same thing, different day, right? This is like you roll your eyes because when Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane make their roster and say we believe in these 53 guys, they mean it with a passion because they don't change that roster for anything or any reason other than injury. They don't go out and make moves. This is by far the best Super Bowl contending team we've had. Best opportunity to upgrade the O-line as we're talking about, get a cornerback, give up some picks, right? So they value their draft picks and
draft and develop.
Value the guys they got. They're saying, no, we're not willing to give up second or third round draft picks.
And I think the Bills have proven much more than other teams that they can draft and develop, right? So you don't know if that second or third round pick what that's going to turn into. It could turn into a Spencer Brown who's going to be your starting right tackle right out the gate, right? Because this team's so good at developing, their draft picks are that much more valuable.
But it's the opposite is like the Rams, who we just talked about.
Right, but their strategy is different
for like years.
Right?
They're still a contending good team.
They're high risk, high reward, right? That could
Mm-hmm.
absolutely,
explode
bite them in the
big
butt.
time,
But they like
yeah.
to develop free agents. The Bills are clearly draft and develop. So I'm not upset they didn't make any moves. If they did ship Trubisky, I think I would have been upset.
That would
Because
have been
again,
interesting.
this year is a Super Bowl window. If Josh goes down, knock on wood,
That's your
everybody,
safety blanket. Yeah.
God forbid. He's absolutely a good safety blanket.
I mean, you had to do your due diligence. If somebody was going to give up a second-round pick for Mitch Trubisky, they probably would have taken it because you can't say no to an offer like that. A backup quarterback who isn't playing, you're going to give us a second-round pick? Heck yeah, we'll take that. But I don't think that was the case. I don't think anybody would have given that up for Mitch Trubisky at this point. Obviously. It's not that they're not having conversations. They definitely do their due diligence.
Right.
Obviously, they're in that
what
job.
I read is, I don't know if it's true or not, but they're talking with the Washington football team. That's absolutely a team that, ran into some problems, unexpected events,
Exactly.
So, that's something, but.
And you never know what are the
probably
true
weren't
and what's complete rumor.
Brandon Beane is not the guy that sits back during the trade deadline or when players get released. I mean, he's always, we've seen, a trend where he's always in the mix talking and trying to figure out how to make this team better, whatever that looks like. So I trust Brandon Beane. I'm also the flashy of the three of us, and I like splashy moves. I just like that stuff. It just makes me happy. It's just fun, But hey, we do have a lot of draft pick. We have draft picks and so forth, and let's see what they do. I mean, the Bills have really shown the ability to draft and develop. But sometimes, I think this season, sometimes, it's okay. It calls for like, hey man, take a swing. And that doesn't mean that they didn't try. They probably they tried, but maybe, they just didn't want to mortgage their future because of, they got some contracts they got to pay out.
Win
and
now and win in the future. Right?
I actually thought with the news of the Feliciano injury that offensive line would be the move that they made. Maybe not something flashy, but just to have another guy on the roster that they trust. And
they're just not getting rid of teams aren't just when you have trading offensive linemen because it's one of those positions.
Exactly. Right. But you also, this was a unique year, I think, because every year we say, the Bills could upgrade here, they could upgrade there, we could give up a draft pick. The unique thing this year was we actually had pieces to give up, right? We could have traded a defensive lineman, take your pick, Mario Addison, Butler, whoever, granted they have contracts that they're being paid, but still people like Cody Ford, right? So the thing is when McDermott and Beane say, we still believe in Cody Ford, well, they just proved they did because, number one, they didn't bring in anybody else when I thought maybe they would. And number two, Cody Ford is the next man up now. He had to go in the game. And that was, not what we as fans and observers expected because clearly it seems like Cody Ford's chance on this team is over.
And I think Ike Bacher getting the nod over Cody Ford is very telling.
Yeah.
The future of Cody Ford in Buffalo is not looking good.
I think it's pretty slim, and I don't expect him
to be on that's
roster.
What I mean. Just as Sterling was saying, offensive line is such a position in demand. You could have got something for Cody Ford. Somebody would have given up for him.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
Clearly, they chose to keep their guys because they valued it more than whatever they could have got.
I don't know. That's one of those things that the Brandon B would have to evaluate. But, I think this is a game Sunday where the Bills can. I expect them to win this game. I expect a 38-17 type of game for the Bills. That's my prediction. I feel like Josh Allen have 3 touchdowns through the air. We'll, maybe one on the ground, maybe a defensive touchdown. I think, we can get a pick 6 here or a fumble for a touchdown or something like that.
Right. And the Jaguars are -11 in turnover ratio, tied for 31st. Bills are +13, first in the league.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean the Bills look good, man.
Protecting
like I said, these
Jordan
are things
Poyer,
that,
looks
Jordan
phenomenal.
Poyer's having an all-pro season, and these are things that the Bills do that are translatable from week to week. They are solid week to week. We saw Matt Milano come back and play strong. Right. He doesn't. It doesn't look like he was pressing at all. He was playing the Matt Milano we've seen all season, minus against the Tennessee Titans. But he's playing well. Ed Oliver had a breakout game. Ed Oliver was nasty. We were wanting Ed Oliver to kind of have some splash plays, and he was able to do that. So Feliciano was not good. Rousseau I thought Greg Rousseau played a really good game. Tre'Davious White, man, played a really good game. Strong. I mean, look, we can go along the defense. We could Stephon Diggs. I mean, these guys. after the first half, I mean, these guys really turned it on. So I expect the same thing to happen this Sunday.
They're going to give Trevor Lawrence a lot of problems, right?
Yeah.
All brand new looks, right? The Bills are high in disguise and confusion, right? And you know, that bodes well for a rookie quarterback for sure.
It's going to be a bit of a welcome to the NFL. Yeah. So it's going to be a bit
especially,
of that.
You know, James Robinson, you know, I think he's their safety blanket. He's a hell of a running back for the Jaguars. He was out last week. He's day-to-day right now. Bruised heel. That's got to be pretty significant to be missing time with a bruised heel. Yeah. But if he can't go, Carlos Hyde steps up, but I think the Jaguars are in big trouble.
Yeah,
I think they become one-dimensional, and you're putting everything on Trevor Lawrence.
I mean, they do have guys on, you know, Sterling brought up Marvin Jones and Shenault, obviously. And I like they traded for Dan Arnold, who was a tight end that I was interested in the Bills signing in the offseason. I was high on him. He had like 8 catches this past Sunday. So, I mean, he's the guy that they're using. They needed a position, somebody who they could rely on. You know, he's got good hands.
And Trevor Lawrence, actually, he had a streak of good games there. You know, week 4 through week 6, Cincinnati, Tennessee, Miami, he had a passer rating all in the 90s, right? That's about average.
Right.
That's what you want to see from a first overall pick, is just that consistency. You know, they got their ass whooped by Seattle last week, but we won't count that. But I mean, you're seeing some sort of consistency with him. You know, he struggles in certain areas, like, you know, outside right past the 10-yard line, between the 10 and 20 yards down the field. He's struggling in that area. But, I mean, there's many areas that he's really good. He's kind of like Josh Allen in the sense, you know, the intermediate game seems to be his strength. At least that's what they dial up the most. And you want to see more touchdowns, right? He's getting not a lot of touchdowns in that area, but he is throwing some deep balls, and he's having success with that. I think he has 9 touchdowns on the year. 4 of them have been passes over 20 yards. So they're taking shots deep.
Big.
And, you know, they're not having a lot of success, but those seems like they're taking a lot of shots deep, and they're hitting on just a few, which is working out for them. But that left side of the field, between the 10 and 20 yards down the field, that's where they're getting their most points. So you got to watch that with Trevor Lawrence.
You want to hear a good Josh Allen stat? Josh Allen right now has the most consecutive 20-yard passes without an interception. He has 72.
Wow.
You know what we didn't mention either is that's insane.
That's a lot.
50 rushing touchdowns, tied Cam Newton.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was going to get there, right? We talked about this last year.
That's huge.
I didn't think he would get to Cam Newton level, but he did. And I think it was I can't remember the games, the cap on the games. I can't remember. Was it 4 years maybe? So I'm not sure how many games it was.
Oh, within the number of
games. Right?
I see. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a hell of an.
But yeah, no, it's Josh Allen. I mean,
he's the real deal.
We talk about Josh Allen ad nauseum, but let's keep it moving here, fellas, shall we? So why don't we get to the 5 for 5 and let's do our picks and go ahead and get out of here, because we are running out of time tonight. So you guys know, first of all, if you guys haven't checked us out on Tally Site, not just the 3 of us, but the Cover One team on Tally Site, man, if you want our picks, you know, you can head over there. And why don't we do that? Actually, let's do Anthony's 5 for 5 and get out of here, because it's an hour and a half, so forth. But all of our picks each and every week are on Tally Site. TallySite.com. You can find us, all of us there. It's like we all trade off on who's going to be the most badass, week to week.
We all did really well. Actually, I had a really good week this week, and I'm like, oh, I had a really good week. Then I look at the standings, and Eric and Sterling burned me. They're way up there. And I'm like, damn, you guys had 2 of the best weeks on the whole entire Tally Site.
I think I'm fourth in the nation right now.
Great picks. Picks.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, I had a good week.
I wish there was more skill involved.
Right. I mean, it's a hunt.
You try to just pick up on like the team momentum and things like that. That's
There's
huge
a lot of factors.
It's a bounce back league. Things like that, but
it's all. Hey, look, I
there is no secret formula to picking.
Last week, I said the Giants are going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football, and you both laughed at me. And look what almost happened. Last play of the damn game,
and the Giants blew it again. That's why I don't pick the Giants.
But it was a 9.5 point spread. That was stupid.
Giants should have won.
Points. Come on.
The Giants just
Right.
don't rise. They don't rise up, man. They've
Yeah,
burned me
right.
before. I don't pick the Giants
They
anymore.
couldn't do it, but they covered the spread. That's the good
Justin
thing.
says, did you guys see how many turnover-worthy plays Mahomes had yesterday?
God, so bad.
Listen, I don't subscribe to turnover-worthy plays. Turnover-worthy means you didn't get it done. You know, I think all quarterbacks have turnover-worthy plays, and I think it's narrative-driven. We all know Mahomes is kind of regressed this season. There are multiple factors that support that argument. But turnover is a turnover when the defense makes a play or the quarterback just completely screws it up. But Josh Allen has a lot of turnover-worthy plays, right? But you know, he's only has 2-3 interceptions on the season. So I just think, you know, for as many turnover-worthy plays, you know, Mahomes, Allen, they make more plays than turnover-worthy plays. So it's one of the stats that I'm not a big fan of, to be honest. And I appreciate you mentioning that. But Mahomes has not looked himself. But we'll you know, we talk about Mahomes a lot on here, and it's nice to see that they're not having the season that they expected. But it's all Bills here, baby, and we whoop that ass, and we're gonna leave it at that.
But I'll say the Chiefs are 4-4. The division's absolutely in reach for them.
Absolutely. Right. And did you see that I'm like Raiders in the top 10 for picking Chiefs games? Y'all see that mess?
Nice.
Oh, I missed that.
I was there too. I was there for
yeah.
Tampa Bay, actually. Yeah,
I know what you're talking about now.
It's crazy. All right, so are you guys ready to Anthony? You're gonna do your 5 for 5. So
absolutely.
And I said all that to say, check us out on Tally Site. Our very own Anthony Romeo is gonna tell you guys how to get that bag, get that money for the weekend. So Anthony, why don't you go ahead and do the 5 for 5, my G? Why don't you go ahead and start there? Let's throw you up there, man. Let's get you. Yeah, buddy.
There we go, baby.
Do your thing.
All right, man. Here we go again with the 5 for 5 heading into week 9. Can you believe it? Wow. Week 9 of the NFL season. We're starting our 5 for 5, but let's talk a little bit about last week's 5 for 5. Going in, 2 of my picks, the Tennessee Titans and the Cowboys. Those lines, I took them at -1.5 and -2.5 respectively. Those lines ended up being +3 each. So I took them at minus points. They ended up being plus points. Guess what? Both of them still covered the minus points. Tennessee -1.5 at Indy. That's a W. The Cowboys -2.5 at Minnesota. That's a W. So 2 wins last week. I went 3-2. Again, with a winning record. The 2 teams that lost, the Chargers, who put up a stinker versus New England, and Cincy, who, going into the Jets, they had a 10-point lead. I'm like, oh, good, I'm going to cover this one. And sure enough, they ended up losing the game, costing me a few of my eliminator leagues as well. But that's a story for another day. 3-2, though, in the 5 for 5. Another winning week, ladies and gentlemen. We went 1-4 in week 1, and that has been the only losing record of the entire season. This is an unbelievable run right now, ladies and gentlemen, of the 5 for 5. 1 losing week, and the rest have all been 3-2 or 4-1, and there was 1 3-1-1 in there. And there was only 2 3-2. So, I mean, this has been an incredible run that we're on. Let's keep that momentum going into week 9. Here we go with my picks. Coming in at number 5 is the Buffalo Bills, -14.5 at the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm taking the Bills -2 touchdowns versus Jacksonville. I just don't see how they lose this by any less or how they win by any less than that. Number 4, my pick is the Miami Dolphins, -6 against the team that I keep telling you is not NFL worthy. Miami sucks, but even on their worst day, they can beat a high school team like the Houston Texans. Number 3 of my picks is once again, I'm picking the Chargers, -2.5, even though they put up a stinker. They're -2.5 against Philly and in Philly. I honestly think that they can cover that. Philly has looked better, improved, but they can't put up the points. I think the Chargers win that one. And number 2 pick of the week, the Cardinals, -2.5 at San Francisco. Here's another one where the Cardinals, I said I don't believe in them. They could lose any week. But here, only -2.5 against a team I think they should beat in the San Francisco 49ers. And my number 1 big bet of the week, another one that I just couldn't believe when I saw it. You heard us talk about both these teams during the show. The Green Bay Packers are getting 2 points against the Kansas City Chiefs. Talk about two teams trending in different directions. The Green Bay +2 at Kansas City is my big bet of the week. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's wrap that up again. My 5 picks of the week, starting with the lowest, going up to my big bet of the week. The Bills -14.5 at Jacksonville. Miami -6 versus Houston. The Chargers -2.5 at Philly. The Cardinals -2.5 at San Francisco. And Green Bay, my big bet of the week, +2 at Kansas City. Let's do it. Let's keep that momentum going, staying positive. I want to get all 5 wins. Let's go 5-0 this week, baby. Let's keep that money flowing.
So that is Anthony Romeo's 5 for 5. Thank you. Oh, there we go. There we go. Good job with that, man. We always appreciate it. I'm trying to get 5, man. I'm trying to look. I just like you. I'll do like 4-1, or I've been doing like 7 and 18 parlays. I got as good as 7 and 1. It's hard to do. It's hard.
So that's why what I would honestly recommend, if you're doing, let's say you're doing different bets of if you're doing $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 bets, you do that with my 5 for 5. 1 is the lowest, 2 the next, $5 on the highest. If you're betting 20, 40, 60, 80, $100, that's how you should do it. 20 on the lowest, 100. When you start compiling these and try and get 5 wins on a parlay, that's a lot harder because you're introducing a lot more error. But if you're betting on each of these games individually, you are crushing it this season with my picks, my 5 for 5.
Really?
Yeah,
so you're saying overall, I should do individual. So
correct.
On each, and I'm a noob when it terms of sports betting in this sense. So you're telling me that I should do individual wagers on these games, and what increments?
Yes, right. Whatever your increments is. If your betting pool is $10, then you do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? If your betting money is $100, or your max is 100 and you're betting 200-ish, then you do 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, right? So that'd be $300, but still, if you're betting $1,000, then you should do 100, 200, 300, 400, $500, right? The same way, whichever one you're most confident in, you put the most money down on that, and then you work your way down for those 5. And that's why I give you my 5 in that order. And if you've been doing those bets, I should tally it up what the actual payout would be for my record at this point. But it's insane right now, because to even break even, again, if you're at 500 or if you're 1 over 500, you are doing phenomenal on the season. We are crushing that number right now. So we have been raking it in for the season. It's been a pretty good start for the first 8 weeks.
Well, you guys heard Mr. Anthony Romeo with the 5 for 5. He gives it to us every single week. But we want to make sure that you guys like, follow, and subscribe to the Hoof Podcast and the Cover One Network. We are here every single week giving you the best that we can. Again, we want to say thank you to our sponsors, Underdog Fantasy. We do have another sponsor that will be coming up here in the next few weeks that we are very excited to be partnering with. And for you guys out there, it's Tuesday, right? For some of y'all, we want to just say, man, keep whatever you're doing, stay happy this week, man. Don't let people give you negative energy. But thank you again for your support. And the last thing is just go Bills. We're going to get another W this Sunday. And we're going to beat the brakes off the Jacksonville Jaguars in the old Urban Meyer finger boys up the old chute, 38-10, 38-17. But hey, we are going to smash them. But you guys have a great week, man. We are out of here. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Jordan Poyer, All Pro. Let's go.